All right, what up, everybody? What up, everybody? I talk pretty fast. Happy Wednesday. It's a brand new week. So I'm excited about meeting with Natalie. We didn't meet last week, so I gotta do work stuff. So I'm happy to be live with you guys this week. Another dope week of Boss Up Talks. With my girl Natalie.
I'm here. Listen, we
What
got
up, fam?
jobs. They gotta know that we got jobs and stuff that we be getting paid
That
for.
part.
But excited to be here. This is gonna be a great conversation as usual.
Oh yeah. So today we're talking about understanding the power of your gift. The reason why that is so important. Well, before we go into that, Natalie, what do you think that means? Understanding the power of your gift. What does that mean to you?
So I think about really small. The gift that we have and the gift that we are, that there is something that is, I want to use the word power, but you put all this stuff on mute. Being a teacher, you can't use a word to define a word.
Mhm.
So it's like there is a strength behind your gift or within
Okay.
your gift that pushes you forward in whatever industry or territory that you find yourself in. So the gift itself has power, has a strength, has a weight to it, an authority. And you being a gift, you have that same like innate power within you. And when you understand how those two things connect, how your being connects with how you do a thing, you'll be able to have authority, have the money, have the influence that you desire in whatever territory that God has called you to. But just knowing that there is a strength, there is a weight, there is something that moves behind the gift that you have.
That's good. That's a good. That I like that. I think one of the biggest things for me with I always talk about purpose and it talks about clarity. And then I think we got to bring it to your giftings as it concerns because what happens is a lot of times we go through life with just doing things organically that we don't realize the power of that. I think once you understand the power of your gift, you start to move differently in a negative or positive way. Because there's some people understand their gift and use it negatively. It's like some people are really good at being persuasive. And sometimes, like I was watching, man, what's this show? The Neighborhood with Cedric Entertainer and, we call it Pam, Gina. I mean Pam, but Tashina Arnold. And it was one episode where they were all as couples suggesting things to each other, realizing what power they had to manipulate things that they want, right? But when it comes to using your gift, one thing I pride myself is like I understand my gift of teaching, I understand the gift of being a chef, and I understand my gift of using social media and being creative with showing what I want. I think the when you understand the power of your gift, there's a certain level of urgency with certain things, right? I know part of my gifting is making food look pretty, right? So with that, I adjust food a certain way because the power of that is I'm able to get sales. When it comes to teaching, when I say the power of me being an effective communicator to show the lesson, I'm able to allow students to move a certain way. So eventually, when we get to a certain point, I can then trust them to do certain things, right? I think when you understand your gift and the power of it, you move differently because you know that, hey, because this is a gift, I want to move this a certain way because once I know how it impacts everybody else, it is measured by success. So, for example, is when it comes to my students, the way I communicate food to them, when I understand the power of it, I am able to communicate what success they can have. So, for example, is let's say if some of my students are working on, like a lot of my students right now, I have a few students where their background, they may have experienced, like, they're the first generation here. So, if I show you this skill set, this is what can happen if you really genuinely manage what I've given you. If you learn how to, manipulate in the right way what you do, where let's say, for example, is like one of my students right now, like, it's he's graduated, but it's just like he's get paid less because of his citizenship. I'm like, if you learn how to maneuver your things and start a business a certain way, the way you're able to move, you can make more money than your family's ever seen, because you learn how to understand how to really utilize your skills. Like for me, one thing about resources is I know I'm good at cooking. You could be good at whatever, but if you don't know how to understand the power of it, how you can convince people to really get you where you want to be, it's a different vibe. Like I've been in different spaces with food because I've known how to use the food, the power of food, people loving good food, to get in the rooms that I've wanted to get in. Only because like I understand the power of my gift. Everybody wants to eat. Once I get in the room, I can sell you on anything else. Like even if we for my homework assignment for this week is we're doing a canvas on basically products. So with my product line, I know, for example, is if I give you a little pack of my seasons inside of, if you come to my Mother's Day event, I can put some season in the pack of it where you'll already want to buy it. I don't know how Chef has seasons, but once I put the pack in there and you know how good the food tastes, you automatically want to buy, right? So when you understand your gift, you learn how to expand your resources. Understanding your gift, the power of it, leads to expanded resources.
So my cousin is on my timeline right now, and he has a. Why did I press that? Man, I pressed the wrong button. He is a hairstylist, and he does like this. Hey, Kashif, like he does here. Sometimes he'll do different things, and he'll go, to people's homes and stuff like that. And he works, in a hair salon as well. But he asked a question. He said, "How do you learn to accept your gift without being fearful of the outcome?" So I'm gonna share what I think, and then I'm gonna yield it to you, Chef J. But for me, I separate the outcome from not what do I do, but in my mind, I already decide ahead of time that the outcome is what it is. So I decide what I want to see in the future, and then I work from already having that outcome backwards, basically. So I know that I want to make six figures in my business. So as a six-figure business owner, how am I supposed to operate right now? And I decide from the future, the outcome that I want to see. I am not working towards that particular destination, but I'm working from that destination. And that includes my mind and my emotions as well. It doesn't just include my actions. I have to wrap my mind around the fact that what I am searching for and walking towards is something that I already have within me. I already have all the wealth that I need within me. So knowing that I already have this, what is my next step to take? As a six-figure business owner, I know I have to start doing less, right? But that means I also have to raise my prices in certain areas. I can't work for $20 an hour with the gift that I have. And I know my gift is powerful. I can't. But I also know, since I cannot work for $20 an hour, if I raise my prices to $150 an hour, I have to give the time in between for everything around me to adjust to my new state of being, because I'm declaring as a future six-figure owner, this is how I'm going to operate from the beginning, working my way towards the end. So I kind of detach myself from the outcome. However, that's not what I wanted to say. I actually work from the outcome and who I be back again. So it's like when I do get my six figures, it's going to be the second time around I get it, because the first time was in my mind when I decided to do so. And lastly, I'll say, this gave me so much hope when I heard this story, that Walt Disney, he died before he actually saw Space Mountain come to be, right? He had created all the plans, he put all the people in the position, and in the middle of Space Mountain being created, he died. And then the day that they opened up Space Mountain, one of the executives came up and said, "Oh, what a shame that Walt Disney was not here to see his dream come to life." After he spoke, Walt Disney's wife came up and said, "Actually, Walt saw it before any of you guys saw it. He already saw his vision come to pass in his mind. He was working towards an end that he had already decided would be. So even when he wasn't physically present to see the thing manifest, he had so much faith in what he was creating. With or without him, his plans will come to life. And so that's how you have to move. You have to move so confident in the fact that the outcome is the outcome because I already see it in my mind. It's already decided. I'm just working backwards to get to the thing to reveal itself again.
That was so good. I forgot the question. But
You want me to say it? I'll tell you.
wait, let me respond to that first. We call it understanding by design. The design that we have is already set in stone. So I have the design. Now we'll make tweaks and edits too, but this is the design, right? So now from understanding design, I work backwards. Okay, so this is the bigger picture. It's like doing a mind mapping, the bigger picture. So what is the first step, the second step, the third step, the fourth step? Like right now, I'm working on editing in my e-course I'm about to drop. The 6 week e-course that's going to be 8 weeks now at this point because it's so much information that I want to edit it, right? So I'm thinking about what, as a personal chef now, right? What are the steps I had to take backwards? What's the first thing I did? The second thing, and break it down because I'm thinking about whenever I want to reach a goal, I need to understand what's entailed for me to reach that. And I love what Natalie said, like he saw his design from the end because you got to think in order to build something big, you have to start with what's the foundation principle? Who do I need to hire for the foundation? Who I need to hire for plumbing? Who I need to hire? Like when you think about the structure of a building, it's so many layers that goes into that. That's why some buildings don't get built right away because they have to have everything, the building inspections, everything. What do we have to get done to get this like this whole project, established? All right. So now, what was the question again?
So the question was, how do you learn to accept your gift without being fearful of the outcome?
Okay, so I'm gonna do it in a biblical principle about accepting my gift, right? When God calls you, he calls you. You can't it's like you may not fulfill the work of it, but you're called to do that, right? So be like, for example, I know I was, when I realized that cooking was a part of my gifting and my ministry, I started to move differently, right? Like I never thought at the age of 10, age of 15, because I started my business when I was young. At the age of 20, at the age of 21, 22, I never saw that I would be here where I am currently today. I never saw that. But I did know that I was destined to do great things. I think what happens is as you start to realize that my gift is for the world, my gift is for people, my gift is to bless other people, you move differently, right? Before, I think when I was selling dinners, like I was like kind of getting annoyed. I'm like, I'm kind of tired of this. I want to open up a restaurant. I thought I want to open up a restaurant. I thought I wanted to get a job in a different city. Like I thought all of this stuff because I was at a place where not knowing the power of my gift and not understanding what I'm supposed to do with my gift. So I was getting frustrated with business, and then I had a conversation with my spiritual grandmother, who I would just bring her food like every week, every other week. She passed away, but I would bring her food and I would spend time with her, right? And she said, "You know what, Josh? I've known you since you was a baby, and I've always sort of call of God on your life, but I thought it was to really like minister, like and preach. But now I see that your ministry is definitely food." Where you're able to, when I was selling dinners and I was kind of getting tired of it, like I know I was paying way through school, but she said, think about it. You're able to deliver food to people, have conversations with random people, but you literally brighten people's day. Like the fact that you're coming to the nursing home to visit me, to spend a little time with me, and you bring joy through food, but your presence brings a certain type of brightness to the room. And she said, I want you to really realize that this is your gifting and it's your ministry, so you have to move differently. I have never broken down like that. I was laid out because she was a operating prophetic gifting. So I was laid out, because she didn't not only she convict me, she gave me a lot of answers to questions I didn't know. And from that moment, I realized that I'm just not selling dinners. I get to sell dinners. I get to go on these different spaces. I get to be around people and to share my gift. Once I realized that my gifting was meant to be shared and I get to share it, There are people who would love to know how to cook, but by doing a program, I'm able to show them how to cook. I'm doing so many things now that if I would have never accepted my gift at that point, I don't feel as though I wouldn't have been open to be able to share my gifting. So when you realize your gifting is meant to be shared, the power of it, I think that the purpose of what you're doing comes from a fear perspective. Well, I don't want to do something. Now it's like I get to bless the world with this, right? I get to share this opportunity to sow into somebody's. Even if you are getting paid, you're still sowing a gift into somebody's life. So I think when you change your knowledge, your output level of what I'm out putting out, it's a different vibe, because like once you understand that part, it's like God amplifies that because you're able to go into so many different spaces. Like if I would have never got that down pat, I would have been never to go in different spaces because I know now when I go to spaces, I'm not fearful of who's in the room. Now I'm like, okay, what value do I add to this room? Like now my first question is, God, what value do you want to add from using me? Like, how do you want to use me? Like even when as a teacher now, I've been in different schools, but every student requires something different of me. Like yesterday I was talking to like a lot of the boys, they just always in my class all the time. So I'm like, God, what role do you want to play in their life? Because it's far beyond cooking. Cooking is the gift that brings me into the room. But what is the purpose of my gift in this space? Is it to provide mentorship? Is it to be a big brother? Is it to show excellence in gifting? Is it to just pray over kids? Like, pray in the classroom. As I pray, things are changing. So I have to be so mindful that when I know my gift, I have to make sure when I know my gift, when I come into the room, I'm not just here to cook with kids or to cook for an event or to teach kids. My now ministry form goes based of what the room needs. I think it's so important to not only show up as the gift, but know how to express your gift, right? Because when you know how to express the gift in a room, things move differently, right? Like you move differently, more purposeful. Like when I go into different space, I'm like, okay, God, I don't know why you have me here, but I would like to know why, because I want to know how do you want me to show your gift to the world, because it was given to me. So how do you want me to display it in this room? So I think fear changes when you know the power of your gift and you're here to impact lives. So when I go into a space, I'm not just showing up as Chef J, I'm showing up as the change maker in the room. And then all fear is gone because I know I have a purpose to come into the spot.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. I wrote down so much while you were talking. I was like, yo, he just dropping gems like, y'all gonna grab this. You said something that blew my mind. I always say business is ministry, but you said food is ministry. And I just saw it. I said, oh my God, that's the thing. We have been misusing the word ministry and have been labeling it only within the category of a church and a church building, right? And I know that, but I did not expect you to say even food is ministry. So when you said that, I'm like, yo, hair is ministry. Like, every gift that we have is also an opportunity for us to be ministers and to serve one another. That's what a minister means, is a servant. So I get to serve people in this way. And I can't be afraid to serve people. Like fear, and in this case, it's really, this is what I'm picking up. You might be putting down something else, but sometimes we're fearful because of how big it is. When you have something that is big and it's expansive, it becomes fearful because you're like, can I carry this thing out? Can I take this big vision that I know that I was meant to be great? There's something I shared with my family the other day because one of our cousins was in the local newspaper, well, actually a national newspaper, and did a cookbook. It was just like, and I was like, you see us, you see you. We were meant to be great in this world. Like our grandmother, I have a picture of our grandmother here because she was the first person that reminded me or told me that I was meant for greatness. And so if we are all born out of this greatness and we're in each other's space all the time, we're going to start igniting aspects of the greatness that's within us, and that also comes with fear. So the fear is not always the fact that, oh, I'm scared of what bad might happen. Sometimes it's, I'm scared of how big this thing is, that I'm equipped enough to carry it out. And my suggestion is, sit with the fear, feel the fear,
Mm.
dig into that. Because the people that are connected to your ministry also have a fear deep within. And when you connect with yours, you become emotionally intelligent enough to see when people are in the same predicament. And that's where you're going to be able to minister to them. And people who are served well pay well.
That part right there, that's so good. What I love you just said is that people that serve well pay well. The biggest part of that is ministry is about service. Sometimes you get paid, sometimes you don't. Right? There's a lot of times I've served for exposure. I've served for, and now I would never, I think that's just trash when people say it, but when now I know better, right? But when you serve, right, there's sometimes you got to pay your dues. And I think the what happens now with entrepreneurs, we're not used to paying our dues. We're used to like, oh, I'm here, I got this great brand, people want to buy from me. There's been so many times behind the scene I've given to people, and I think when you understand your gift, sometimes you got to give your gift away for free or discount if you're led. That's the first thing. If you're led, because a lot of times we got to be led to do certain things, not just do it just because we feel like it's, oh, let's do this, you know. Um, but I realize you have to be led to share your gift. But the thing about your gifting that makes it so strong about serving, Jesus was a great example of a service. When I realized wherever he went places, he figured out how, even though he wanted to preach the gospel, he first served. You know, because you got to think too is like there's some people want to get paid for their gift, but you haven't served your community yet. You know, where there's certain things like some people can't even receive your gift because you haven't served. People's mindset aren't even ready for what you have to offer because you haven't tilled or cultivated the ground. Some things are the best thing about cultivating the ground. Like one thing I love about Natalie is Natalie. It's not that she can't coach you with certain things, but before you understand about getting clarity, you got to know what you're here for. You know, and I think what happens is she can provide you in the right way to serve you, but to get the best gift from her is to know your purpose. Like, let me help. Let me shoot you to the area we need to go. That's me serving you. But now let me share my gift with you once you get to this level. I think there's so often times that we're just not selfish, but it's such a self gratification with our society. We don't realize that sometimes you have to give when you don't have. Like, and I realize too, is just that I make it my daily business every day, a few times a week. Who can I serve today to be a blessing to give? Right? Because what happens is once you give, people start to notice you more, not because your showmanship. God would allow the blinders to be off to be like, you know what? Natalie always shows up with who she is, and let me just support her to see what she's doing because she's always doing impact with these ladies. I've seen her mom CEO that now she's doing clarity. Let me find out what she's talking about because she served this community so well. I want to see what she's talking about. You know, like even too, I've gotten several opportunities to do like social media for people where I was doing for free, and now it's just like I had my Chef J hat on while I was serving, and next you know people took notice. Oh, you cook too? What you cook? You know what I'm saying? But I took time to serve, and I think when you have and I try to teach my students that too. Like you guys have to serve because sometimes you'll be in the right place at the right time by serving, you know, and being involved in the different communities, being involved in different places, it will allow you to have a light shined on you that you probably wouldn't have shined by just being home waiting for clients. Like the more I realize, the more I'm at different events, the more I'm helping students, the more I'm at like people are just like, oh Jay, you do this? I didn't know that. How can I work with you? You know, even too, like this is chef right now, like I posted something that she did, but my students made that in lab. And now she's like, I want to partner with your school. How can I partner? Because I want to be able to expand your resource, like to, you know, to help the kids out. So now by me just naturally sharing her stuff, just like naturally and trying in class, now it's building a relationship that's, you know, beneficial to me as well as my students. So now I'm like, yo, you have to be at a place of serving. Like, how can I just help somebody else out where it's not just about me winning? How do we all win? But I think that mindset has to shift about how do we all win? When you're not concerned about other people winning, it's like you're not next in line because you're over here doing this. But if you're over here, it's like the whole circle is over here. Where now I'm in a circle where people who need what I have are in the same area, but I'm by myself trying to do everything by myself. Be I'm every woman, I'm every man. Like it's hard to do because you need people. Like people say they're self-made, but I'm not trying to be. You're not self-made if people have to support you. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's just some people that have been a blessing in my life or put me in the right direction, and I learned that too. Like being serving in the like one of the best servers I know is my friend Alima. Like I love like just seeing her serve is just amazing to me because when I see her serve in different capacities, she gets so much knowledge from that. Sometimes when you're in a place of service, you get the freebies by being like serving of your gifting, where I think sometimes we always want to be behind the mic, but sometimes you got to be in the back packing up t-shirts. You got to be serving people in this capacity. But once you learn how to serve, and sometimes when you serve, you'll get wisdom to help you better understand your gifting. Because the right word I needed was at the right place at the right time when I was doing the right thing serving, right? So I think we got to get to a place where we're happy also to serve. Let me volunteer my time. It's only an hour anyway, so let me get up early and just help them out with this. But it's something about being like serving that puts you in the right place, the right time, in the right room.
So I'll just add a little to that. There is a season where you do have to serve for free, where there's no monetary value attached to it, right? And I love that you said entrepreneurs come in the game and they don't realize that they have to pay their dues. That's a season. That is not forever, because if you don't start charging for your value, you will not have a business. And if you just want to volunteer, go ahead and volunteer, right? But don't call it a business. Accurately define it, or else you will be feeling some kind of way, because what you're saying you are and how you're showing up are two different things. Now, in the season where you have no monetary number attached to the value you provide, you have to retrain your mind. So I had to do this too, because I was in a season where nobody knew who I was, and I had to give the gift away for free. And God really shook me up and slapped me up side my head and said, give the gift away for free. He was like, don't nobody know you. So the fact that don't nobody know you means that you have not qualified yourself to your market in order to get paid for the value you provide. You just talking right now. They have to encounter you within your sessions to see that you actually know what you're talking about. And on top of that, they're not doing this for free. It costs them their time. He said to me, he said, do you know how expensive it is for somebody who's never met you before, never seen you, just saw you on Instagram, to click on a free session and spend 20, 30, 45 minutes with you talking about their life, and they have no idea who you are. They've never met you before. And you have the audacity to be like, everybody trying to use me for free. He was like, it costs for them to pay attention to you. You're asking them to pay attention, and their attention, their focus, and their time is expensive. That's why we say today, people have a short attention span, because they don't think it is quality enough to sit with someone for longer than 2 or 3 seconds on an Instagram reel, much less an hour or 30 minutes or whatever the time is, for free, as you call it. And so once I recognized that, money was the lowest form of wealth in the world, because I thought it was just the kingdom. I thought it was just the church, but God said in the world, because wealthy people understand the power of we, as Coach J said. That's why wealth starts with W-E, we, that you can't get and gain wealth by yourself. What would it profit you if you had $1 billion, but you were on an island by yourself? Absolutely nothing. So in order for the wealth and the money to be of any value, it must be positioned in community with other people who see you for what you have, right? And who see the value of the money. And so I had to do a mindset shift. And this is the same thing I do with my students as well. Like, time energy and focus, that is way more valuable than money. You people,
Mhm.
rich people use the money that they make to buy back their time so that other people could do the work that they used to do when they were building their business. So if rich people have the mindset and they're the ones making billions of dollars, that time, energy, and focus is more valuable. And like I said before, I'm moving from a place where I already have the six figures, then I have to start thinking as a woman who values energy, time, and my focus and my resources, which are also people, more than the dollar bill. The money is always going to come. It's usually late to the party, but it eventually shows up.
Yeah, I think that's so important because, man, once you kind of understand, like, everything isn't about money, right? But you want to be so good at understanding your gift that you become persuasive. And sometimes you have to be in the right spaces. Like, I think that recognizing your when you understand your gift, you start to recognize each of your strengths and talents, right? Because we all have them. I think the next part about that is like you start to leverage your abilities for personal professional growth. Where when you're in a room, I think conversations naturally come up because people just want to know what you do because like, oh, you sound really dope. What do you do? Like Natalie is such a fun person to be around that you got so much joy. What do you do? Like let's talk about that more so. If you saw her last post about, I think they was dancing at the event, right? Y'all look like y'all was having fun. So what I do is not fun. So let me figure out how can I be around like the fun train. So once you realize that I want to be around that part, you know, I think too is if you are uncertain about your gifting or whatever it is, you want to pursue paths that are aligned with your natural abilities, right? So if I'm naturally like a people person, what are these paths that work with that? Because sometimes it's hard to find your purpose when you don't have clear direction of what you want to do. But I know I'm a people person, so let me look up paths that deal with people, people in just communicating things of that nature, and I think what happens is once you start really aligning yourself with your natural abilities, you start to experience a greater fulfillment of success, right? Like, I'm so happy about this. Like, teaching excites me. Like, I love teaching. I never thought I'd be a teacher early on in life, but now I'm like, wow, I'm glad I did because I feel fulfilled when students achieve success. I feel like I'm contributing positively to the world around me. I feel like it's inspire, uplift, and enrich those around me. And I think it gets to the point that once you understand your gifts by doing these things, you have to honor them. Like you have to honor your giftings where I don't take what I do for granted because I get to do this. Like I get to be in these spaces. I've never taken advantage. Like one of my mentors when I was talking about this e-course a couple of years ago, I want to drop. She was like, Jay, you really got to show people like how do you make yourself wanted in a room. Like some of people are really great with certain things, but their attitude or personality is awkward where you don't even want to like, yeah, you're good at this, but like, do I really want to deal with this today? This type of person. So I think it's important to when you know your gifts is how to be chill, like how to, still express your gift, but you understand it so well, but you understand that sometimes you may can't be so strong to push your gift on people, right? Because I know I'm an aggressive person or more of a sort of assertive person, but I realize that just because I have the answer for you doesn't mean I got to push it on you. Like sometimes let me just be great at what I do naturally. That people are like, yo, maybe I want to work with you on something. But I think sometimes because we're trying to push business on people, especially with network marketing, I've learned that sometimes they can be so pushy, that where it's like, I would love what you have to offer, but it's such a pushy vibe that I'm not sure if I want to embrace that because it's so pushy. Like when you talk about clarity, it's such an ease to talk to Natalie about that because she understands she's the answer to the problem, but she doesn't like. I realize that when you know your gift and you're understanding that, people will naturally come to you because you're a dope individual. And I think learning how to rest that you're going to make it, that you don't have to force it on people, that you don't have to be so aggressive about things. Just be dope at who you are, and people will naturally come to you, right? Like I think gifts are like magnets, where it's just like I have this gift and people need what I have. I don't have to be so aggressive in a room that if I'm just comfortable being me, people being naturally attracted to the gift. If I'm comfortable just being chill, and I think that comes with the piece of knowing who you are, knowing the value you add, where it's just such an ease about understanding everything else. Where like you're already in the room. Like sometimes we're in the rooms that we don't know what to do. And I think sometimes it can be challenging when you have to answer the room. Like, how do I get this? If you just be chill and relax, you realize you're ready to answer to the problem that people have. Just learn how to relax. And once you develop that confidence, you start seeing things that, wow, okay, now I can maybe say this. I think when you start understanding your gift, you add the value already. Sometimes it's just about waiting for the perfect opportunity to share what you do. And it's just like it becomes with the ease. I've learned that the more I've learned to have fun and be comfortable with what I'm good at, people naturally want to know what I got, what I do. Like it's like Natalie's so joyous. I want to know, like, yo, you laugh and joke all the time. Like, how do you have that piece? Like, what do you do that's so fun? Because Natalie got kids, she got business, but now I'm like, what do you do that's so fun? Like, let me know about you. But I think once you start to become comfortable in your gift, you understand the purpose of it. I think it's naturally to share your joy that people just want to find out automatically versus like you forcing it down people's throat. So I think it's good to know why you're in the room, um, or when you get the opportunity to be in a room that you know how to do things with grace, that people just want to know what you do. You have such joy about you. Some people look miserable, and it's just like, no, I don't want to do what you do. I don't want to know about what you do because you look miserable. So I think as you learn to develop that joy and that peace about what you things become much easier for you. You got anything to wrap things up, Natalie?
No, that last part that you were talking about was literally just purpose. When you know your purpose, it's so much easier to move through the opposition and the obstacles with clarity.
Mm.
That's it.
You hear that? And that's what we're striving for. So, guys, if you're looking for coaching, guys, reach out to Natalie. I'll be looking to reach out to find more about your purpose. Me, Clarity, Natalie, either one way, we're gonna help you get you
Wait,
together.
hold up. Ain't you dropping something soon? Don't be trying to rush. I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm dropping an e-course. These are for all my chefs or food service professionals about it's a personal chef boot camp. Like I've just learned a lot, and I feel like I could have gotten a lot of help with a course like this. This course is definitely going to help a lot of people who are into the culinary art space. I think that college might be for everybody, but e-course does help. You want to find out what are some key points I can work on. This e-course deals with not only your purpose, but how do I display things differently? How do I know proper sanitation things? How do I build a clientele? How do I build menus? So it's gonna be a really dope e-course. I'm really excited about this because this is my third e-course, but with this one, it's just really just for chefs or just for food service professionals. And I think it's so important because if you want to go to the next level with your business, let's move with this, because I think me and Natalie try to put things together that make sense, and it helps who you are as a person and build. Like it's time to build. It's time to step out your comfort zone. It's time to make things work for you. But it starts with training. There's some things that it can't be accomplished through YouTube University. Where I need strategic things where we have to work together to build it together. So I'm dropping that in a couple of weeks, actually. So we want to work that out. All right. So if you look for coaching, and I know we have a few e-courses, Natalie's, or when are you doing your next one about your coaching session, the next group?
So the next group just started. So if you guys are an entrepreneur and you need clarity around who you are as a visionary to execute that big vision, we have started in March. So you still can get in on it. And at this point, this is going to be the lowest price. It is $99 a month and you get so many benefits within the membership, but it ain't going to be this price no more because I have a few people that have hit the 6-figure mark. And you know what that means? Price go up.
All right, fam. So have a great week on purpose. We guys see you guys next week.